behind me there in commemoration of the brave of all our peoples who laid down their lives for their beliefs and ideals in wars within and beyond the frontiers of our country. And I think that speaks to the auspiciousness of not just the occasion but of this precinct in which we are today. And it's all happening here. It's the build-up, started bright and early, where we are building up to the State of the Nation address tonight at 7 p.m. And with me now is the Chief Whip of the African National Congress, and the African National Congress, of course, the majority party in Parliament. Mr. Jackson Mthembu, thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you for having us, and again, thank you to your viewers.
Let me just start by asking, first and foremost, as the majority party in Parliament, your sentiments about the year that was, because this will be President Cyril Ramaphosa's second State of the Nation address. He came in just about a year ago. So what are your sentiments with the year that has passed?
Well, let's speak to the commitments that the President made when he took office last year. One, fighting corruption. You know that there are some people who are corrupt who have been arrested yesterday and day before yesterday. You know that there are commissions that are drilling deep into this cancer of corruption. We have seen the Zondo Commission. I don't know what is his name, but people call it the Zondo Commission. We have seen the Mohoro Commission. We have seen the SARS Commission. Of course, all these commissions, the PIC Commission as well, with one thing in mind. Let's rid our country of all corrupt activities and corrupt people. And those who are found to be corrupt, indeed, our law enforcement authorities are charging them so that we remove them from the face of both the public service and the private service. So of course, he made another commitment. That commitment was to get investment into the country. We all know that he has got an envoy that is going throughout the world looking for money. We now know that there has been an investment conference where indeed of the $100 billion that the president said that I want to raise in the next 5 years, we know that $20 billion is in the kitty to improve our infrastructure, to deal with water problems that we have, particularly in villages throughout the length and breadth of our country. So we think the president will speak to that. But more importantly, the president said we need to work together to grow the economy so that we create the much needed jobs, particularly for our young people. Of course, we know that he has come up with a lot of initiatives around this area of jobs for young people, internships, in-service training. But there's still a lot that we need to do. We hope that we'll hear a lot from him on the job question. But secondly, on how do we make our economy to work for everyone? Not only for those that have enjoyed the privilege of being owners of everything, all productive assets in South Africa, but bringing in other people, particularly black people, women, young people, so that our ownership of the economy is inclusive of all people. We hope that the president will speak to that as he speaks to how are we going to grow the economy beyond the low levels where we are now. As you will know, he will also borrow much from our election manifesto. That speaks to this question of growing the economy.
And I'm going to come to that in just a moment. I want to start where you started with the question of corruption and addressing that meaningfully. Now, as you indicated, there have been arrests affected, but the question on many South Africans' mind is, when are we going to see the arrest of some politicians with regard to the corruption perpetrated? Because you speak of these commissions, many politicians have been mentioned, but when we see the arrests, there are no politicians per se amongst those.
We are asking a wrong person, because we don't direct the NPA and the NDPP. these are independent structures. They do independently what they are expected to do by our Constitution. Of course, also all of us, anybody who is implicated in corruption, immaterial of the standing of such a person, whether you are in the leadership of the ANC, whether you are in the leadership of government, you are a minister, you are an NEC member, if you are implicated in corruption, the ANC is very clear. It said this very clearly in its fourth conference. We must act on corruption. Of course, we expect the organization to act on anybody who is implicated at an organizational level using its own dictates and protocols. And we also expect our law enforcement authorities to act. But we have seen them acting. Now, I can't answer for our law enforcement authorities. Go and ask them. I think they will tell you that what they do in arresting people is not for public comments. But I hope that we will see more high-profile arrests in the near future.
Including politicians?
Well, by the way, to us, anybody who is implicated in corruption must be arrested. We don't care who you are, whether you are a politician or you are a non-politician, whether you are a priest or a non-priest, or you are just an ordinary person. We cannot allow South Africa to be defined as a country that is corrupt. By the way, in the corrupt stakes, we are numbered at 73 out of 180 nations. We need to improve our standing. But you can't have people coming and investing in your economy if there is a perception that you are a corrupt country. Because there are people who are corrupt, who are in government, there are people who are corrupt, who are politicians. Therefore, our take as the ANC and as the ANC caucus is that immaterial of your standing, you must be arrested if you are implicated in corruption.
Well, Mr. Jackson Mthembu, still much to unpack, and hopefully we'll catch up again later on in the day to talk about some of these other issues, because they are many and they are very important. But for now, we have to hand it back to Auckland Park.